Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects and top-notch narrators directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From brand new audiobooks such as Thrawn Treason and the audiobook exclusive Dooku Jedi Lost to our blockbuster movie tie-in editions, you'll have plenty to keep you entertained. Start listening wherever audiobooks are sold.
This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is Vanessa Marshall, Harrison Dula from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi, show number 295. We are your spoiler-free place for Star Wars discussion, analysis, and rhetoric. I'm your host, Dan Z, drinking One Nation coffee out of my Black Spire mug, fresh from my recent trip to Batuu in Disneyland. One Nation Coffee is the official brew of Coffee with Kenobi. For the best coffee in the galaxy, go to www.onenationcoffee.com and sign up for a subscription service so you never miss out on the best coffee in the galaxy. Coffee with Kenobi is brought to you by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. For all of your travel needs to plan your trips to Galaxy's Edge and the Disney theme parks, cruise lines, or anywhere you want to go on vacation, be sure to go to our affiliate link, which can be found in the show notes, on the front of our webpage, or on social media, and sign up for a free, no-obligation quote. You'll have the best vacation possible and help out Coffee with Kenobi in the process. On today's show, Lisa Dullard and Aaron Sager share their experiences at the Galaxy's Edge media event to celebrate the opening at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite coffee mug, and let's have some coffee with Kenobi.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
We have got an exciting show today. First off, though, we have to cover the incredible media event, more of an experience, really, at Galaxy's Edge for the grand opening of Walt Disney World at Hollywood Studios in Orlando, Florida. So let's bring in our guests who were there live for the media event. First, let's bring in, he is a professional geek, a pop culture aficionado. He covered the event for Den of Geek, and he is also a longtime friend of the show. Of course, I'm talking about Aaron Sagers.
Hey, Dan. Thanks so much for having me back this week.
Hey, man, you are always welcome. One of my main regrets was that I didn't get to hang out with you. I always love hanging out with you at Disney World.
I know. Well, you know what? But I think you had a excellent representative on the ground there.
I think I did, and that sounds like what we like to call in the business a segue over to our media specialist and a long time. Well, we joked before recording that she's the queen of Batuu. I think I'm going to keep that because I really like the sound of that. We're talking about the awesome Lisa Dullard.
Hello. No need to bow or anything. Kiss my.
Well, we started to curtsy. Was that the right wing? Bow, curtsy, something like that? And either way you do it, there are a lot of colloquialisms that are involved with Batuu. So we're going to talk about all of those things. And I know about Lisa because I know this was Lisa's first trip to Batuu. But Aaron, did you ever make it to Batuu at Disneyland, or was this your first experience?
This was my first travel off-world to Batuu.
Perfect.
So I did not make it to the what they call the Pink Spire out in Anaheim. So I was excited to be there for the media preview and experience and all the goodies happening in Orlando, especially since I'm originally from Orlando, even though I don't live down there anymore. It was a bit of a homecoming.
I was going to say, so you just introduced something that I was going to ask you both about. Did you hear any mention, or was anything pointed out about the differences between Galaxy's Edge on either coast? You mentioned Pink Spires. That's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, I did some digging. Sorry, not to jump in, but I did some digging on some different language, different expressions and whatnot. And I think a lot of that is probably carried over from between Anaheim and Orlando. But I heard people refer to Batuu in California called the Pink Spire, along with some other expressions. That I have a list going up soon on Den of Geek on all the various, the way to speak the language at Black Spire Outpost.
Oh, cool. Well, definitely let us know because I'll be happy to retweet and spread the word because that's going to be a fascinating read. There's a ton of stuff that goes into interacting with the citizens of Batuu. But before we get to that, I need to ask you both what it was like to first walk on the ground and to experience this wonderful, amazing place and see the Falcon for the first time. Lisa, let's start with you.
Oh boy, it was surreal. I'm still even wondering if I was there. To be honest, it was just walking in there. The place is, the sheer scope of it is a bit overwhelming when you first walk in.
Yes.
And then I made, kind of a beeline to the Millennium Falcon, as much as you can make a beeline when you've never been somewhere before. But from looking at pictures from Disneyland and whatnot, I had a general idea of where it was, and that was one of the first things I wanted to see. And coming around that corner is quite a sight to see that beautiful ship sitting there, just larger than life, is just incredible.
The 1/1 scale of this thing, it's impossible to not just sit there and be in absolute awe of this thing. Did you get choked up at all?
I did. Yeah, I did feel a little bit emotional over it. And I did a very brief video, and I think I may have sounded a little choked up.
Yes.
On that. But yeah, the power of it was really more than I anticipated.
Aaron, what about you? What was it like the first time you got to lay your eyes on the Falcon just like that? And now, I mean, of course, you've been covering Star Wars for a long time. Have you been on to Pinewood or a movie studio to see the Falcon on set before?
I have been to Pinewood, but I haven't seen the Falcon, although I was on set for another project a couple of years ago when I didn't know there was a full-sized Falcon on set, and I strongly considered breaking security and protocol to go find it. I knew I would be hauled off to Pinewood jail had I done that. But I would echo Lisa's sentiment that, Lisa, I don't know if this was your experience, but the main entrance into Batuu from Hollywood Studios in Orlando, it's situated kind of the back part of the park next to sort of the Muppet Land and beyond where Star Tours is. However, where they brought us in for the media preview was pretty much, I believe it's going to be the entrance, near the entrance to where the hotel is going to connect. And so entering into that area, the very first thing I saw was pretty much the Falcon, and it was awe-inspiring. It did leave me fairly speechless, which is a feat unto itself for anyone that knows me. I do chat quite a bit. And even though I had been tracking the coverage, watching Dan, of course, you were part of the opening in Anaheim. Even though a lot of friends and colleagues, I had seen their coverage, laying eyes on it myself was just a special moment, which then continued to expand and unfold and be enhanced the more I looked throughout Black Spire Outpost and really soaked up this entire experience. It was, I think, similar to Lisa, I think the first video I did as soon as I saw it was just a lot of repetition of like, oh geez, wow, okay, here it is. That's the Falcon. I just couldn't find anything really insightful to say because I was rendered so speechless.
That's kind of what Galaxy's Edge does to someone. When you see the Falcon, it absolutely takes your breath away. You get choked up because it's like you've been picturing this in your mind all your life. You very much feel like you've been on the Falcon a million times because of the wonderful movies, but nothing can prepare you for the visual of seeing it just right there in front of you. And it doesn't end with just seeing the Falcon either. You both got to go on Smuggler's Run, and you got to do some great stuff there. But going through that queue and seeing the Falcon from the back is really incredible, and almost is incredible seeing it from dead on the first time. Wouldn't you say, Lisa?
Yeah, it was. And I wish I could have spent a little bit more time in that area, but I was on, I had a pre-scheduled thing, so they were sort of rushing you a little bit through. So right. I was the person in there, and they were like, okay, come on, this way. And I was like, I want to look. Let me look. But I understand they got to, keep the thing moving and whatnot. But it was really something to see.
Now, Lisa, did
Yeah.
you or Aaron? Aaron, answer that one. Plus, I also want to ask you if you got to experience it at night.
Yeah, I did. I was fortunate that I did a segment, on-camera segment on the Falcon, so I had a pre-scheduled time. But I think we were both probably really fortunate that we had a lot of time on Batuu. I think the first day I spent something like about 13 hours there. I think we arrived at 10, and then maybe it was about 11 that first day, and then the next day went back and still had it was scheduled for 2 hours. I ended up having 3 hours on set the next day. And then after the official opening, I was back. So I was able to spend a lot of time on the Smuggler's Run attraction. I must have done it at least 8 to 10 times at this point, and had the experience of walking through the line quickly to go do that film segment, but also spent a lot time in the queue with a lot of other people. And I can't believe I'm saying this, even waiting in line for this attraction was worthwhile. You get to see so much, and just constant details, a feast for the senses.
It very much is. Since you've both ridden it, you know, of course, that there are 3 different roles that you have, and of course you can do it on the left or right, so it's really 6 different seats in the Falcon. Which would you both say is your preferred seat of choice in the Falcon? Lisa, what about you?
Well, I got to be the co-pilot. I only rode once, but I got to be the co-pilot.
You got to put it in the light speed, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I was the only person on, for I had the pre-scheduled ride, and I was the only person, obviously, in my group. So they had seat fillers for the other positions, and I kind of asked, I said, could I be the co-pilot, or is that,
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you can be whatever you want, we don't care. And so, yeah, I got to be the co-pilot and got to pull that lever a couple times and pushing buttons and going up and down. And yeah, it was and that ride goes by really fast too. And
there's so much to keep track of, isn't there? And to look at, and you almost feel like you're just, it's almost like a cat with yarn. You're just looking all over the place and jumping around.
Part of me, I'm just like looking out the window, like looking around. Like, oh no, I got to be paying attention, or we're going to crash into.
I got to drive this thing.
Exactly.
And Aaron, what about you? You got to ride it 8 times, which is awesome. So you probably got to experience all the different roles on the Falcon.
Yeah, I did. I did. Sat in every seat and did every position. I would say the making the jump to light speed, the right pilot, is, the right side is really amazing, because yes, you do get to, pull that lever and jump to light speed, and then you do control the up and down maneuvers. However, I actually think the left and right, the left side, left pilot, which controls the left and right movement, and also I believe the boosters, is a really satisfying position, because it feels like you really do have a lot of control over the Falcon, and it comes into play a lot. However, the right gunner with the manual controls on the guns, I really enjoyed that, but you have to be so careful. You have to kind of learn quickly how to just like cap with your fingers while still looking ahead at the display to see what you're shooting at. And that is an interesting challenge, because yes, you want to look at the buttons. Yes, you want to look at everything in the cockpit, but you also have to keep an eye on the display, on what's ahead of you, so you know who you're actually firing at. So I really enjoy the right gunner on the manual controls.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there are difficulty options to add to the challenge of the experience, and I think really just makes an overall amazing attraction. I mean, it's just, and you really are. It really is an experience. And people have asked me, what is it like compared to Star Tours? Well, I mean, I think it moves you around quite a bit more than Star Tours, and there's more to keep track of. But it's sort of a similar sensation, I suppose. That's fair to say.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Again, having grown up in Orlando, I was fortunate to go on Star Tours a lot when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
And I love Star Tours, even though it was perhaps, there's some wrinkles in it, in the experience. However, it's what I had. And for a long time, it's all a Star Wars fan really had in that kind of live action space. It existed, after Jedi and long before the prequels. So it was such a satisfying experience for me. And now this is, times 3,000, times a million, and so it feels like a spiritual cousin to Star Tours.
Oh, well, very well said. Let's transition to food and different shades of milk. I know that you both have tried the green and the blue milk and got to enjoy some of the delectables on the planet Batuu. Tell me what you both had to eat and drink and what you thought of the blue and green milk. Aaron, let's start with you this time.
As far as the milk options go, I definitely prefer the blue milk, which is more of the coconut base. I think they may both have coconut milk in it. However, it's a bit of a sweeter consistency. The green milk is more, has a bit of a floral flavor to it, and it's not bad. I liked it a little bit less. I also tried both with the alcoholic options, and still going with the blue, which has rum in it, as opposed to the tequila, which comes in the green milk. I've been to Oga's Cantina 4 times, and I was also on in the both restaurant, or the walk up food area, as well as the restaurant. And I think I've tried everything on both menus, sampled everything at the Cantina. And I appreciate the food options that they have there. And I don't know, I think I'm going to go with my favorite drink might be the Yub Nub, which comes in the collectible Ewok Tiki mug. And as far as food goes, I'm going to really say that the secret charcuterie board at Oga's in Orlando is pretty tasty and very alien looking.
I'm glad that you got a chance to get that tiki mug, because I know you're a fan of all things tiki anyway. So that's perfect. Did you try the kettle corn? Because that to me is the best thing there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the kettle corn, especially because I don't know if this is the case in Anaheim, but it comes in a mouse droid container
That's right.
in Batuu, Orlando, which is especially fun.
That's great. It does come with that, which is an awesome thing. You can get it that size, or you can get a smaller one. And you have to try the sweet and the spicy at the same time. One of the chefs recommended that to me, and they could not have been more correct. Lisa, what about you? What did you think of the different milks, and what did you get to try food and drink wise?
Well, I just pretty much had I had the blue and the green milk, and I had the popcorn. I didn't really eat anything while I was there. I know that's horrible. That's horrible.
But you liked what you had.
I did. Yeah, it was a little hot for me temperature wise.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little, my appetite tends to really get non-existent when it's really hot out. But I had the blue and the green milk. I prefer the blue just because I have a sweet tooth, so that was good. But they're both quite good. And I had 2 of the cast members that were at the milk stand. They were watching me intently as I was trying the 2 different, because I walked up. they were having a debate, like a friendly quote unquote debate about which milk is the best. Mm-hmm. And I asked if I could try both, and they were like, "Sure." And then they're both watching me as I'm drinking them, and I'm like, "Who are you guys looking at?" Like, we're waiting to see which one you like better. And so I went with the blue, so that made the guy really happy. The girl was a little like, "Huh." I said, "Well, I like the green too." I mean, they're both good.
I definitely like the blue better. I don't even think it's close. Now, I'd forgotten that in Orlando they have an alcoholic version. Aaron, did that taste much different at all, or was it just that it had alcohol in it?
I would not say in that case that it really radically altered the flavor, other than it did have just a slight booziness to it. I believe it's just a white rum that's added to it. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say it radically altered the flavors, as opposed to in Oga's Cantina you can get I forget the exact name of the cocktail, but it's a Bantha, blue milk cocktail with a Bantha cookie, and that the cookie really accentuates the flavor of the blue milk cocktail in the cantina. So I would say that if someone's going to make a choice and they know that they want a spirited version of the blue milk, if you can get into the cantina, go for that, because it does come with that cookie, and it's a great cookie.
That's a good tip. That's a really good tip. I also know that the milk you get at the milk stand is a little more cold, and not slushy, but much more chilled, whereas the one inside is just good old-fashioned milk consistency.
Yeah. The milk I got from the milk stand was ice cold.
Yes.
I got a little bit of brain freeze when I was sampling it, but yeah, it was ice cold and tasted so good. It's just a fun experience all around. The fun experiences don't stop there when it comes to food and drink. We also have a ton of great shopping experiences. I've certainly talked at length about my experiences both for the media preview and then when I went during the D23 Expo. In fact, on our last show, Drew Taylor said I have an addiction to Batuu, and I will own that. You bet I do, because I went there as many times as I possibly could. Okay, how about this? Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Disney shopping experiences at Batuu and Galaxy's Edge. This is Coffee with Kenobi.
Greetings. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects, top-notch narrators, and music directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From Luke Skywalker to Kylo Ren to Admiral Akbar, you'll recognize all of your favorite characters. Listen to movie tie-ins like The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, and original titles such as Thrawn Treason, Alphabet Squadron, Master and Apprentice, and the audiobook exclusive Dooku Jedi Lost. With Star Wars audiobooks, you'll have plenty of Star Wars listening to keep you entertained. Available wherever audiobooks are sold. MEI and Mouse Fan Travel is the #1 place for me to go for all of my travel needs for the show and for my family. Their signature service and expert advice certainly helps me and all clients maximize their vacation time and dollar. The best part, perhaps, is the no-cost, no-obligation quote when you use the service, and they also proactively adjust the booking if the rate goes down. They'll help your family enjoy everything Galaxy's Edge and the Disney theme parks and the cruise lines have to offer, help plan every detail, and will share invaluable tips. Be sure to go to our affiliate link, which can be found in the show notes on the front of our webpage or on our Twitter feed, and sign up for a free, no-obligation quote. You'll have the best vacation possible and help out Coffee with Kenobi in the process. It's been a while since I've talked about Harry's razors. But let's talk about Harry's razors and the whole shaving thing. I mean, humans have been shaving for over 5,000 years. From flint tools to shark teeth to the first copper razor, we always knew that a great shave comes down to simple, sharp, durable blades. I mean, the ancient Greeks didn't need flex balls or heated handles, and neither do you. That's why Harry's does not add any gimmicky features to their razors. Their focus is on quality that actually matters for a close, comfortable shave, and they never upcharge you. Join the 10 million, that's right, 10 million who have tried Harry's. Claim your free... Join the 10 million who have tried Harry's. Claim your special trial offer by going to harrys.com/CWK family. I love shaving with Harry's. In fact, I did this morning because it's a close, clean, comfortable shave. I never cut myself because the blades are such high quality and they work beautifully. Plus, I never have to worry about running out or having to run out at the last minute to grab some razors either late at night or early in the morning because I ran out of blades, because of the way you get razor blades sent to you in the mail and the way you can select when you receive them is really, really awesome. Harry's is a return to the essentials. Quality, durable blades at a fair price, just $2 per blade. To keep prices low, they cut out the middleman. Harry's owns a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making some of the best razor blades in the world for 99 years. And now they can provide great quality at a factory direct price. Harry's is also a brand you can be proud of. 1% of sales are donated to organizations that provide access to mental health care for men. And there's no risk for you to try them out. If you don't love your shave, let them know, and they'll give you a full refund. Listeners of my show can redeem their trial set at harrys.com/CWK family. You'll get a weighted ergonomic handle for a firm grip, 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel with aloe to keep your skin hydrated, and a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Go to harrys.com/CWK family to start shaving better today. The only other thing I want to talk about before we get to the show is our wonderful CWK Patreon family contributors. Because of them, we are able to do so much for the show and give back to the community in a special way, which I'll talk about in a moment. But first, let's thank Jason Hall, Dennis Keithley, David Nicely, Jeff Ellis, Colby Mead, Yancey Evans, Dave Ritchie, Ross Halliban, Frank Mulder, Alexander Moylan, Melinda Wolf, Aaron Harris, Chris Kavarka, Angela Sauce, Rebecca Raven, Simbat Detradarian, Christine Turk, Sean Reed, Kurt McKellen, Dan Ream, Brian Harding, Blake Reaver, Jim Capron, Caroline Maselli, Chris Metz, LJ Souter, Thea Selby, Daz Davies, Christian Dale, Brian McKinney, Connie Shee, Jared Cantor, BJ Smith, Eric Struthers, Nick Deco, and Mark Suter. Because of them, we're able to keep the lights on and the power going in the Coffee with Kenobi studio and add so much more to the show. Both things you've heard, things you're hearing now, and exciting things that will be happening in the near future. And I'm very excited and doesn't have without each and every one of you. You get, for $5 a month, you get access to CWK Pour Over, which is our exclusive show, hosted by myself, Tom Gross, and Corey Clubb. And that's great in and of itself. It's fun to record, it's fun to produce, and we love the feedback on the show. Plus, you can tell us what kind of topics you want to talk about. We will happily take them and run with them on each and every week, because it is a weekly show that comes out on Sundays. For $10 or more a month, you get access to CWK Lens, which is something like Snapchat or Instagram stories where I will talk to you about different things going on in the studios for travel, upcoming events, and give you immediate reactions to Star Wars news, especially breaking news. And that's a lot of fun, too, much more personal. And that's what Patreon is. It's a personal thing. You get to know your creators so much more, and we get to know our listeners and patrons of the show, and it's wonderful. But the part I'm the most proud of is that 10% of each month, I take the Patreon contributions and I give them directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital Network. They are an amazing organization who does incredible work that really is so unfortunately needed, but they do the best job taking care of these wonderful kids who have these challenges. They shouldn't have to, but they do, and St. Jude helps them, and you help them with your monthly contributions to Coffee with Kenobi's Patreon page. So if you have any questions, please email me and let me know, or check out the link, patreon.com/Coffee with Kenobi. Thank you so much. There's so much to see in these incredible shops. What did you both find that you brought home with you from Galaxy's Edge? Aaron, what did you find?
Oh, well, I agree with you. There is so much to look at, and I'm gonna say that I share that addiction and really enjoyed going through with a lot of people, like, you know, with the crowds there. It was just kind of satisfying. But as far as what I found and what I purchased, well, like I said, I picked up some mugs from the cantina. I did go through Savi's workshop and build a lightsaber.
The best experience of that too, I think.
It was really something. It was really
it's special.
It really had an emotional impact on me. It was I really felt something during that, and that, you know, obviously I entirely appreciate it is an expensive experience, and but if you are able to do it, it is well worth the experience. Beyond that, I did purchase a lightsaber display stand from Doc Ondar's.
Nice.
I picked up an additional kyber crystal, not the black one. Was looking for a black kyber crystal. Didn't find one. It did not select me. Let's say that. And then what else? Picked up I don't know. I probably picked up far too many things. Keychains, you know, some standard tourist type things. Keychains, ball cap, a luggage tag, a Black Spire Outpost luggage tag, and then also a journal and water bottle. So yeah, I would say that I left some credits behind on Batuu.
Did you see the $100 gold plated, not actual gold, but it looks like it's gold gift certificate that you can get, or gift card you can get on Batuu?
Was that the Imperial credits, or?
Yeah.
I think I saw, yeah, I did see that then. That was in Doc Ondar's, I believe.
Yeah, pretty slick.
Which is the name of the shop, if anybody, I'm sure everybody already knows that's listening to this podcast, but yeah, Doc Ondar's den of antiquities.
So before we ask Lisa what she purchased and all the fun things that caught her eye, because she's a great collector as well, in Disneyland, the first time I was there, all the Kyber crystals were on display and you could look through them to your heart's desire. But recently, thanks to YouTube and other things, there's sort of a way that you can ensure that your red encased Kyber crystal is black. And the good folks at Disney know that, so they have moved the Kyber crystals to behind the counter, so you can't really look at them and examine them. They just give you one. Because my second time through, I got a green one, and because I bought a holocron, I discovered, and this is breaking news, that it's Yoda's from The Empire Strikes Back, so I was really tickled about that. But the red ones, who knows? The thing about the black Kyber crystals is that when you put them in your lightsaber, the blade will still be red, even though you have a black crystal. So, Aaron, how were they on display there?
Yeah, so it was not behind the counter. It was in part of the main display area. There are cast members or Batuu locals that are
Batuians.
Batuians that are managing the experience, so people do not quote unquote scan the Kyber crystal canister, which to determine whether or not it's a black crystal. So they are actually keeping an eye on it. I will say, this is not confirmed, but this was told to me that they are actually going to be changing the packaging on the Kyber crystals to prevent that kind of scanning. So those YouTube videos and Reddit tips that say how to determine what crystal it is, so those are no longer effective. So that's what I've heard.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll see about that. But sadly, my hunt for a black Kyber crystal continues.
So you got a red. You did get a red one though.
I did get a red one, yeah, and
cool.
I do like the red one. The one in the lightsaber that I built is green. So if I ever want to swap it out, I guess I can do that easily enough. Yes.
In fact, it's that what was first an intimidating thing for me now has become a great joy to take the thing apart and put different Kyber crystals in there. It's quite fun. In fact, my son Mason, my 6-year-old, he is actually pretty adept at doing it now too. So in fact, every day he says, "Daddy, can we go? Can I get a Sith one?" That doesn't mean I'm bad though, right? Does that mean I have to get a red Kyber crystal? This is the kind of questions we get. And it's fun because those are the things you can do when you're at Savvy's workshop. Now, Lisa, you spend quite a bit of time in the marketplace. There's a lot of awesome stuff in there. What did you see and what did you pick up?
Well, I saw a lot of things that I would like to have.
Yes.
But I had limited space in my carry-on, so that kept me restricted to what I could get.
Discipline. There you go.
Discipline. That's not a word usually associated with me, but I'll take it. I had two things on my wish list when I was going down there. I wanted a stuffed wampa because I love that. That's really cute. And I didn't know he growls. When you squeeze his belly, he growls at you, which...
Oh, yeah. They're all interactive.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so I got that. So I was very happy about that. And I wanted to get a deck of Sabacc cards, but they weren't expected to have them in for another couple weeks. So I was like, But so that was, it's a reason to go back, right? Got to get this, but I need those for my solo collection because otherwise, it's not complete. And I picked up a few little things for some friends and whatnot. But yeah, I enjoyed going through the marketplace. I wanted to bring my dad home a bag of the popcorn. Mm-hmm. What do they call pop grain? Is that what they call it?
I call it popcorn. I said no, it's kettle corn from was it Quetzecas? Is that the name?
I think so.
Yeah, I think what is it? There is a term for it. I think it's pop kernels or something. How they refer to it on Batuu.
Yeah, popped kernels or popped grains. I can't remember what I read, but but they don't have any that's like pre-bagged. So and the cast members were kind of looking at each other like, hey, that's something we never thought of before, was that some people could buy a bag and take it home with them.
Oh, yeah, because they totally would.
Yeah, because my dad really loves popcorn, and I thought I was coming home on his birthday, and I thought that would be a fun gift for him. But But so I wanted to do that. But I love going to the marketplace. I went through there about 100 times looking at all the really cool stuff they have and interacting with the different the Batuians.
I think Batuians. I think that's how Matt Martin referred to them.
Okay, yeah, having some interactions with them was really fun. And I went through Doc Ondar's a few times. That's a great place. And just watching just watching Doc Ondar was really cool. I was just standing there staring at him for a while, like, wow, that thing is amazing. So I love all the little shops and stuff. It's really, and the marketplace is so cool. The way it's set up is just, I kept looking up at all the everything up on the top, the banners and everything else hanging there. Just really, really a beautiful design.
Were you able to stick around in the evening time and walk through a lot of the marketplace and just explore the land after dark?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was there till about 9:00 on Tuesday night. Took some pictures and took some pictures at night, and it's beautiful. It's
such a if you agree, like I think it's such a different experience being there at night, and even looking at. I was walking around and I was like, oh my gosh, there's like these apartments above the marketplace that were lit up, or seeing the cockpit of the Falcon, seeing some lights and displays inside the cockpit. It's just like an entirely different experience in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
It really is. And not only is the land itself a different experience in the evening with just the lighting, and it's gorgeous, but the Smuggler's Run attraction is different as well. Both when you take off from Docking Bay 5 and land, it's a little bit different, which I thought was a really nice touch.
Yeah, I only experienced it once at night, and I seem to remember, like I'm sure I had read about it, but I had entirely forgotten that it was a different experience. So it felt new to me when I was taking off. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, it's nighttime here.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just it's stunning. Like, this is an engineering marvel. It's a storytelling marvel. You live Star Wars in a way that you never dreamed possible. It's just funny. I used to, as sort of an escape, I would walk the aisles of Walmart and Target and look at all the Star Wars toys and feel just this wonderful little bit of peace and sort of a callback to being a kid. And now I can do it on a scale absolutely unprecedented until now, thanks to what Disney has done, both at Disneyland and at Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida. I can't thank you both enough for coming on the show and sharing your experiences of what it's like in Orlando. It sounds amazing. And is there anything else you want to share with us about Galaxy's Edge or tips for people before we close out the show?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you first, Lisa, please.
I was going to say, be sure to prioritize what you want to see, because there is a lot to see. And if you only have, a few hours or a half a day, you're not going to see all of it. I mean, I was there a day and a half, and I didn't do everything that there is to do. So really have an idea of what you want to do when you get there, and plan in advance as much as you can. Of course, some things might fall through or whatever, but yeah, having a plan of attack is a really good idea.
Absolutely. Aaron, what about you?
Well, I definitely agree with that. I think that's definitely important advice. I would also say, both Lisa and I saw kind of behind the scenes of the upcoming Rise of the Resistance attraction, as well as some information about the Star Cruiser hotel. So, keep an eye out for more information about that. And if you have to put, if you can get there in December, that's when Rise of the Resistance opens. So that's going to be a whole other marvel to look at. And the other piece of advice I would say that I learned was, it was something like the August Cantina in particular. It may say there's no reservations, and maybe even someone at the check-in will say that it's going to be hard to get in. Still talk to the person at the end of the line, actually checking in for reservations, And you know what? I have found that a polite, bright suns or rising moons and kind of talking the lingo a little bit can sometimes get you into the cantina faster than you might anticipate. I twice was able to get in there fairly quickly on a standard admission day. Even though there are no reservations, there was quite a bit of people there, and they were kind enough to get me in. But it was also because I said I had been bartering quite well that day, and Olga would be quite pleased with the credits I was spending at the cantina.
That's
talk
brilliant.
the language, live it a little bit.
It really does enhance your experience. I mean, there is no doubt about that. In fact, I think that really makes it so much more fun. And I'm glad you brought the Rise of the Resistance. I wasn't sure how much you were allowed to talk about it, but yeah, let's talk about it really briefly before your coffee runs out. What was it like, Lisa, to walk inside that? Well, I don't know how to describe it, but what was it like to walk there, and how much did you get to see?
Well, you got to see the shuttle that you initially are on, and then you're captured by the First Order. I mean, we all know the gist of the ride. You're captured by the First Order, and you're brought on to Kylo Ren's Star Destroyer. And so we're on the shuttle, and Scott Trowbridge was the one who brought us through, which was really a nice. And you leave the shuttle and you go through, and the whole area is not, completed yet. So he kept telling us, okay, just keep telling yourself, I'm in space, as you're walking through this area, and it's still, being worked on. And you come to another set of doors, and they opened, and there's this hangar bay in the Star Destroyer, and there's all these stormtroopers all standing there. There's First Order officers. It's a TIE fighter hanging up there. You see, the vastness of space just beyond. I mean, the size of this thing was incredible. It was mind blowing. Really was mind blowing. And just to think, when this thing is complete, what this is going to be like is just amazing.
Was it overwhelming? Well, I mean, just similar to when you see the Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, in a different sort of way, because the Falcon makes you emotional and just tugs at your heartstrings. But this was just you were awestruck looking at this, just like I said, at the size of it. It's quite a large, impressive space. And the way that the ride was described, and the things that are going to happen to you and whatnot during this whole thing is really going to be something. They kept saying it's unlike anything that's ever been done before. And I believe that. Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, I would say, and I've not been told that there was any embargo on this, so I'm happy talking about it. And shameless plug, I do have a post up at denofgeek.com talking about the reveals we saw, as well as the hotel information. But yeah, I agree with Lisa. It was really something else. This is this is the most ambitious attraction, not only at Disney, but that I've heard about any theme park. The fact that it's combining multiple ride systems, that we're starting out in a sort of a live action sequence. I don't know how much activity is going to happen, but Scott Trowbridge did say that we've already encountered Rey and BB-8. We see Poe Dameron's full-size X-Wing. That's a 1-to-1 scale replica right next to us. And Poe is literally our wingman for this adventure. We're on this shuttle bay piloted by Nin Yum, and that's kind of cool. I'm always a big fan of his, so having that character back is pretty excellent. And then being on this hangar of a Star Destroyer, this was massive in scope. Being flanked by something like 50 First Order stormtroopers is intimidating and awesome. And looking at this display screen of a starscape in front of us, a starfield, is also just, it was pretty awe-inspiring. But knowing what Scott told us about how this ride is going to play out, that itself, I don't know how they're going to pull it off, but I have faith that they'll be able to pull it off, that they're going to combine all these different elements, that we're going to have this moving vehicle ride system that's going to become part of an escape pod, that's going to have a controlled drop similar to Star Tours. This thing it's mind-blowing what they have in store for this attraction. And the fact that these cars are going to hold 8 people, they're going to be able to still move a lot of people through this attraction. And I think it's going to be a long experience, a long attraction, even though I don't know how they're going to pull it off, but they're going to move a lot of people through this.
So when you said that the drop is going to be similar to something like in Star Tours, I felt like I could finally exhale, because I do not like drops. And if you were going to say it's going to be like the Tower of Terror, then I would have been concerned for what I was going to do to try to get myself on it. Yeah.
We'll see when you go on it. I'm sure in December, maybe we'll see one another at hopefully we'll get an invite to the opening of it, and I'll sit right next to you.
Okay.
And I'll look and see how you deal with this drop.
Just be sure to tell my wife I love her. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, great.
Hey, you at least you if you die, you died for the Resistance, right?
That's true. It was a worthy cause for sure, and I think Poe would be proud of me. It's so wonderful, as I said earlier, to be on with both of you and hear your experiences at Galaxy's Edge and get us excited for Rise of the Resistance when it opens up in a couple months. But Aaron, where can people find your great work and reach out to you on social media as well?
Well, thanks again for having me on. Always happy to join and nerd out with you guys. And nice to speak with you, Lisa. You can read my work from Galaxy's Edge at denofgeek.com, and I bounce around at a lot of different other outlets, including The Hollywood Reporter and IGN. Please, say hi to me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Aaron Sagers, AARONSAGERS.
Perfect. And Lisa, what about you?
I'm Jedi Pug 1 everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can email me at lisad@coffeewithkenobi.com. And that's where you can find me.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are the podcast you're looking for. This is
Let's close out the show, but first I want to thank our CWK sponsors: Penguin Random House Audio, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, One Nation Coffee, Harry's Razors, and our Coffee with Kenobi Patreon supporters. Please support them the way they support our podcast. And remember to listen to new and archive shows of Coffee with Kenobi wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Stitcher, YouTube, where you can find the audio as well as some occasional videos, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, CastBox, Deezer, and our website, www.coffeewithkenobi.com, or wherever you enjoy listening to your favorite shows. And if you listen to the show through iTunes, please leave us a review. You can also find us on social media apps such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, and we'd love for you to check us out there. Be sure to listen to our CWK family shows too, including Legends Library, Resistance Reactions, Comics with Kenobi, and Lattes with Leia. Please leave a review for each of their shows as well, and be sure to subscribe to each of them individually on their own respective feeds. In addition to the places I just mentioned for Coffee with Kenobi, you can find me twice a month on the podcast Looking at Lucasfilm, part of the Jim Hill Media Podcast Network, as well as on Twitter at Mr. Zer, MRZEHR. You can find my writing on CWK's website, as well as StarWars.com, where I'm an official blogger there, and on IGN, where I contribute articles on Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and all other kinds of pop culture topics. Don't forget to check out www.patreon.com/coffeewithkenobi to support our podcast and help keep the lights on here in the studios. Our Patreon page is where you can listen to our exclusive weekly podcast, CWK Pour Over, hosted by me, CWK newsman Tom Gross, and Coffee with Kenobi co-founder Corey Clubb for just $5 a month. There are also opportunities for behind-the-scenes videos, photos, t-shirts, and more. Plus, 10% of your monthly contributions go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital each month. I want to thank our special guests Lisa Dullard and Aaron Sagers for joining us and talking about their experiences at the media event opening Galaxy's Edge at Walt Disney World at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me each and every week for a cup of coffee. It's so much fun talking Star Wars with the theme parks, conventions, movies, books, animated stuff, Disney Plus. There's so much. We could easily do a daily show, and if I had more time, I would certainly consider that. But in the meantime, I appreciate sharing this incredible mythology with all of you. It is so much fun. It makes this Star Wars world so much more inviting and fun for me, and I thank you so much. Next week, we'll have an Indiana Comic-Con recap and our discussion of the Mandalorian trailer from the D23 Expo. We haven't broken that down yet, surprisingly, because there's so much going on, so finally you're going to get a chance to do that. So until next time, everybody, thank you again so very much. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.
Looking to catch up on the latest Star Wars books? Try listening to them on audio. Featuring sound effects and music directly from the movies, Star Wars audiobooks are the definitive listening experience. From brand new audiobooks such as Thrawn Treason and the audiobook exclusive Dooku Jedi Lost to our blockbuster movie tie-in editions, you'll have plenty to keep you entertained. Start listening wherever audiobooks are sold.